Alright, hi everyone, welcome to LJ's How To. In this video I'm going to show you how to set up a range hood on a deep cabinet. Now these cabinets are 15 inches deep instead of 12, and if you're going to use a range hood like this that has a recirculate vent right here, you're going to need something to push it out. So in other words, if we put the range hood in this way, the recirculate valve is going to be blocked. So how do we take care of that situation? We get a fairly cheap metal spacer, and this is a 3-inch spacer, and this is just enough to push the hood out where the top of the vents on this will be pushed out. Alright, so let me show you with a different view. We have this 30-inch wide range hood, and basically with the spacer put in there, this will now stick out about that far and allow the vent, the recirculation vent, to exit out, because without that it would be blocked like that. Well, aesthetically it would look nice. Now if you're having a ducted vent where there's a duct actually going outside, then you wouldn't have to worry about that. So what we're going to do is to bolt this spacer onto the back of this, and then we're going to stick it in to the slot it's supposed to go. And of course we have the electric to deal with. Now we have a metal enclosure that's going to be 3 inches away from the wall. This feed doesn't line up where the entry point is into the range hood itself, but being that we have a metal enclosure here, we can wire this onto another feed that goes into the range hood. Alright, so here's the box that it comes in, and relatively light. And the model number is right here, JXS, as in Sam 50SS. Okay, it's 30 inches wide. And so what we're going to do is just attach it to the back like this. And it recommends putting a little filler piece of wood, I guess, so maybe it doesn't bend upward, and just to keep it sturdy. Although it's not attached to that, it's going to be attached to the range hood, and then the range hood is going to be attached to the cabinet. So the range hood will be supporting this piece. By the way, this is a Samsung range hood, and we bought it together with this brand new Samsung gas range. And so what I'm going to do is take out the filter panels, and there was a screw in here and a screw in here. It was like a 2mm Allen screw. So basically we're going to get these out of the way to give us access to the inside, and then we can bolt the panel and actually start working on the electrical. So I'm going to take this out so I have access to the electrical. I'm going to pop out the knockout there, and then I'm going to bolt on the filler, which is right here. Okay, and the notch faces upward, so that will be like this, and it will be even with the bottom. Remember, this is upside down, so that's why I flipped it. And we're going to run the mounting bolts through that little hole there. See the slot? Okay, one there and one there. And they give you the hardware to do it right here. So we'll throw those bolts out and we're gonna get ready. Okay, so I'm gonna take this, line this up like that, and then put the nut on from behind. Just stick it out. Of course, you can expect that to fall sometime. Okay, we want to make sure that we get the top lined up. Well, actually, this is the bottom, but you want to make it lined up evenly. Okay. So what we can do is fit the nut on the other side and then line it up before we tighten it. Okay. That's what it looks like from behind. Okay, so we got the nut there. And we're going to do the same for the other side. Keep in mind it's probably going to be a tight fit in between the cabinets. So this does slide a little bit back and forth. You want to make sure it's even. Kind of be careful because as you're putting it in, you can also, this is sharp, so you can possibly scratch the side of your cabinets when you're putting it in. So just keep that in mind. All right. It's a little floppy, but once this gets mounted underneath the cabinet, it shouldn't be floppy. Okay. Let's get the electrical panel exposed. Probably be easy to just let it flop in here, take it out, and then try and get it back in there later. Get this knockout out of the way. It's a knockout. Okay, now we have access and we can put our clamp in there. Alright, so I put the clamp there, knockout clamp, and made myself a little jumper. And let me show you what I'm doing up here. So initially, the entry point to the new Rangehood is here. I marked the circle. But the old MC wouldn't go as far, but being that I have a 3-inch space, I got like tons of room to work with electrical, so I just put a junction box here, and I'm going to run the pigtail out of the Rangehood, curve it around into here, and then when we put it over, it's blocked and covered up by the fill piece. Pretty cool, right? So to make it easy to hook up, because it's going to be a short piece, I can't put anything that long. To make it easier, I'm going to put the pigtail in here first, and then as I have someone to help me lift it up and hold it, either that or I'll make a jig, but we'll see what happens. I'll stick the pigtail in here, wire it up quickly, and then finish fastening it. So I'm just going to put this baby in there. Alright, so now we can do a wiring ahead of time in here and get that over with. Okay, got the ground action going, so we're gonna wire up the hot and the neutral and close that baby up. Okay, got these wired up. Tug on both wires individually, make sure they're in there tight. I'm gonna run some electrical tape around here. Never reuse a cap, by the way. It may seem like it's tight, but if a cap's used already, unless you're in super, emergency mode and you gotta rig something quickly, but use new caps. They're so cheap. Okay. And stick it in the slot. Fit it over. Okay, so I got this elevator on a little stool on the stove. Got a little board in here so it doesn't press against the fan. I got the pigtail coming out and in there, so when I push it up and in, it should be enough for this to flex and kind of hide in. Here's the line of the of where the filler piece is going to hit. I'm going to put a little cover plate over that. This should clear it because we have plenty of space. And so what I'm going to do is take off this panel to expose the recirculating valve, right? And this is where everything's going to blow out now. Okay, I took the other screw out before. Okay, so you got the perforated holes there. Doesn't look that bad. And so we're going to fire up the circuit and test everything and see what it looks like. Make sure everything works before I totally install it. So let's throw the breaker on, and that should be this one. And we'll try the light first. All right, look at that. Light's working. Now let's put the fan on. Low. Okay. And I feel it. It's blowing out. Actually, the bag of hardware looks like it comes with screws that are just about perfect. Definitely. Looks like it'll get a good bite, although it's going to be down a little bit more. Okay, so what I did is I had a couple of pieces of wood that are close to 29. These are 30, but I'm using them to make something else, so I just wanted to wedge them in at an angle. And I had them wedged in, holding this up against the cabinet, and I traced the lines. Okay, so this is where the screw is going to end up, and this is where it's going to slide onto it. I did the same on the other side. I put the little support chock, which keeps the flange right here from bending up, and it's also going to give a little support to the cabinet itself, which is attached to a cabinet and a cabinet and a cabinet. So I'm going to put one more of these over there. I just got to trim it a little bit more, fire that in, see if I can catch the stud right here below the electric line, of course. And then we're going to put this up. So what I'm going to do is pre-drill some starter holes right there, slightly smaller than the screw, and then we're going to put the screws in a little bit, slide the hood on. Hopefully this cable won't keep it from getting in the way. When I kind of dry fitted it, it didn't look too bad. It looked a little bit resistant for this end to go up. I think there's a little slight tension on this, but it should be okay. So all right, so let's go cut that piece, and then we'll be back. Here's the other piece, actually. It's a 10-inch piece, and I'm going to stick that there, but it's a little bit too wide, so I'm just going to trim that a little bit on the table saw. Alright, let's see if we can do this. Lift and pray. Let's get underneath. This is the part that might be a little bit tricky. Put on superpower. Okay. I think I've got to get along a bit. Here's where a longer bit would come in handy. Take that out. Put that in there. Put the Phillips on the tip. And then get that ready for a Phillips injection. Alright. This one's at a little angle. Alright. And one more uno maso. Alright, looking good. So there is the filler piece, and pushes it out just about enough. And it looks like that could have been a little tighter there. Oh, it's the doors. I could adjust the doors. The doors go up and down, sideways, and all that. So there you go. All right, so appreciate it if you give a thumbs up if this helped you. I hope it did, because I was at wit's end when I first saw that. First I thought it wasn't recirculating, that it was ducted only, and actually I called up Samsung, and they said it doesn't recirculate. The actual rep from Samsung. And then I read deeper into the instructions, and it said if you take out the plate right here, it will recirculate. Then I realized when I fitted it, it was being blocked. So the filler piece did the job, and I'm thankful we're getting close to being done with the kitchen. I'll give you one more scan. This is the sink side. I got the old countertop here until the new black quartz comes in. So we get a little filler piece there. Here for the sink. And then here's the fridge side. This is an IKEA kitchen, by the way, the section series. And we're in an apartment building, so it's not that big. We're in an apartment building in Brooklyn. So there you go. All right, thanks for watching, especially if you got this far. And happy woodworking, happy installing your Rangehood.